Hello there, I trust your day has been good. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the English News Bulletin. We'll begin with the headlines. Political analysts on the African continent have noted tangible results in the 8 years since the establishment of the institutional reforms of the African Union. The Belgian Jonathan Verven has become the first rider to wear the yellow jersey in the Yas Tour du Rwanda, following his team Sudal Quickstep taking the first stage of the race. Visitors and local residents alike in Musanze town have commended the erection of statues and displays of other artworks that showcase the rich tourism heritage of the era. Glad to have your company tonight. My name is Olive Nete. Now to the news in details. We'll start by telling you that political analysts on the African continent have noted tangible results in the 8 years since the establishment of the institutional reforms of the African Union, particularly in the sector of governance. Adam Squizera with our top story.
In 2016, African leaders decided that institutional reforms of the African Union was urgent and necessary given the role of the AU that was expected to play in driving and achieving Africa's Agenda 2063 vision of inclusive economic growth and development. President Paul Kagame of Rwanda was mandated by the Assembly of Heads of State in July 2016 to lead the process. Ambassador Joseph Nsengimana, an expert in politics and diplomacy, acknowledged that in the last 8 years, there have been tangible results and changes in the reforms of the African Union, particularly in the sectors of governance, peace, and security on the African continent.
Umuryango wakoze neza kurushaho.
The African Union performed better, which literally seen in the goals that he set, which are dedicated on how they work together to better understand the agenda of the African continent, since there are things which are contrary to that have been characterized as Africa's weakness, because Africa before wasn't this collaborative to stand firm at the global arena and demonstrate its desires. Almost $400 million has been mobilized as a direct result of the Africa Peace Fund. The United Nations Security Council recently decided to finance 3/4 of African Union peace operations for the first time. Ambassador Joseph Nsengimana points out this as a catalyst for the continent's self-reliance journey. The fund before these reforms, it used to get fundings from other countries or international organizations, but particularly superpowers. What we've seen is that Africa itself in those reforms, they revitalized an Africa Peace Fund by involving the contribution of every African, which literally defines that self-reliance goal. President Kagame's report on the institutional reform of African Union acknowledges both achievements and challenges. While there have been notable successes, there are also challenges that need to be addressed for sustained progress. This recognition highlights the importance of continuous efforts to overcome obstacles and ensure the long-term success of the AU reforms in fostering stability and development on the African continent. What these reforms has achieved, it also goes with sustaining it. Here I mean uniting Africans by focusing primarily the common interests. So I think that's even the common responsibility, and I think they will learn from this achieved reforms made by President Kagame. President Paul Kagame ended his mandate as the leader of the institutional reform of the African Union and is replaced by President William Ruto of Kenya. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adams, for the details. Now to sports matters. The Belgian Jonathan Verven has become the first rider to wear the yellow jersey in the Yas Tour du Rwanda, following his team Sudal Quickstep taking the first stage of the race, team time trial, and newly formed circuit. The 20-year-old rider and his team won the first stage of the 16th edition, clocking 20 minutes and 32 seconds on an 18.3-kilometer circuit that started at BK Arena and ended at Kigali Convention Center. Chris from Israel Premier Tech came in second place using 21 minutes and 8 seconds, while Lotto Destiny, a Belgian professional cycling team, taking third place 16 seconds behind. Team Rwanda, one of the three Rwandan representatives in the competition finished 9th out of the 19 teams participating. Tour du Rwanda 2024 was officially flagged off by Aurore Mimosa Munyagaju, the Minister of Sports, together with the Mayor of Kigali, City Samuel Dusengiyumva. This year's edition of Tour du Rwanda will cover a total distance of 718.9 kilometers, the shortest since 2009 when the event got its current rating. The 2.9 rated race underway in Rwanda from February 18 to 25 has attracted 94 riders from 19 teams competing in 8 stages. Now to environment matters. Measurements conducted by 21 stations of the Rwanda Environment Management Authority, REMA, indicate that the air quality in Rwanda is generally at an acceptable average level for people to breathe. However, in January this year, the air quality fell below the national standard, signaling an increase in pollution levels. Follow the details. One of the key locations for monitoring the air quality that Rwandans breathe is the Jali station in the village of Akabuga. This station holds significance as it continuously measures the air quality, providing information every 3 seconds, thus serving as a vital source of data on the quality of breathing air. It is a compact device called an air quality monitor utilized for these measurements, placed on a 2-meter-long steel plate featuring 6 air vents. The device is equipped with 6 components for measuring various pollutants. Deborah Niragwire, REMA specialist in air quality analysis, provides further insights into the process.
It measures 6 key pollutants, including PM2.5, PM10, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and ozone. So this machine helps us to have those data so that we can at least know the status of air quality in Rwanda or in Kigali. So this is among of the machine we have in Rwanda. We have many stations, but this is just a sample of the monitors that can help us to get the data.
At REMA's headquarters in Kigali, a dedicated room houses equipment that collects data from all 21 stations across the country. Within this room, a map of Rwanda is prominently displayed, color-coded, to represent the air quality measurements from these stations using 6 distinct colors.
So as you can see here in that picture, there's different colors that is shown from the data we have, which can be calculated as an air quality index. So air quality index shows those colors, and it has something that it means something. Like the green color, it shows good. That means air quality is good. And the yellow color, it's moderate. And that color is unhealth for sensitive groups. When we say unhealth for sensitive group, it's unhealth to those people like a pregnant woman, children, elderly, and also people with chronic diseases.
Dr. Joseph Muchumbitsi, an expert on non-communicable diseases, reiterates on some of the diseases caused by air pollution.
Birazwi yuko indwara z'ubuhumekero birumvikana niho izo particles zibanza.
These air pollutants first attacks the respiratory system, but also the heart, brain, liver, kidneys, and even the bones that can be affected by the air pollutants. Heart attack, which also may lead to stroke, hypertension, and more. The research shows that 20% that die due to heart diseases and damaged blood vessels are related to air pollution.
According to Habimana Innocent, the officer in charge of the Climate Change, Health and Environment Program at the World Health Organization Rwanda branch, these deaths are caused by smoke that comes from homes, vehicles and industries.
See that our people are using the biomass energy like charcoal, like wood to cook. So the air pollution is from there, the household air pollution. And for the outdoor air pollution, this is due to those outdoor activities like transport, like industries, yeah, or are the source of the outdoor air pollution.
The World Health Organization reports that indoor and outdoor air pollution is closely related to the premature deaths of over 6.7 million people each year. 89% of those who die are in poor and developing countries. Still on environment matters, officials in the Ministry of Environment have warned against the issuing of construction permits in areas designated for other activities, saying anyone caught doing so will be legally held liable. This follows cases in Bugesera district of the Eastern Province that involved people with construction that were found to be building in illegal areas and had their structures demolished. Parliamentarians have been calling for the matter to be addressed, with explanations given how such permits can be issued at the sector level, only to later be found to have been illegally issued by local officials. Top officials have therefore warned such local leaders will be punished in such a way as to set an example for any others thinking of behaving in such a way. The general public is also being urged to first consult the master plan before engaging in such construction projects to ensure that they are taking place at a location that is meant for such activities. To more news on Sunday, Carbon Cap Projects Africa, a British company specialized in carbon market investments, engaged in discussions with the World Conservation Initiative, which works to protect the borders of the Mukungwa River. During these talks, Carbon Cap Projects Africa committed its support to the conservation efforts of the initiative. Follow the details. In response to the looming extinction of resilient indigenous trees, vital for carbon sequestration, the country aims to restore 20 degraded species. To protect the Mukungwa River borders, various degraded indigenous trees will be planted. Shema Serge, CEO of the World Conservation Initiative, highlights the partnership with Carbon Cap Projects Africa for multiplying seedlings, bolstering conservation efforts.
The indigenous trees or native trees are the way of extinction, and many people, they don't plant it, they use exotic trees. And then we saw that compared to the other exotic trees, the native trees is very, very important, and they combat erosion compared to the exotic trees. CO2 Capital, we work together to collaborate and nursery trees to produce more seedlings about indigenous trees, and they help us in monitoring. It will help us to grow and reaching to the other districts instead of walking around the Mukungwa River.
Rwanda anticipates generating $337 million by 2030 from the carbon market through its trees and forests, aiming to offset 7.5 million tons of carbon emissions. Paul Foster, Executive Director and founder of Carbon Capital Projects Africa, outlines their collaboration with Rwanda in carbon market initiatives.
So our commitment is that as we raise the money through the CO2 credits, we're going to reinvest a portion of the money back into projects like this, because we are a green company and it's all about sustainability. So we need trees of tomorrow in order to be able to continue to grow the carbon market here in Rwanda. So we are very much interlinked to be able to support initiatives like this going forward. Native trees will always grow better than non-native trees. So by putting the native trees back in, you're able to produce a thicker, wider canopy, which will actually sequester more carbon. So they will take in more CO2, which means that is a greater ability of us to turn that CO2 into actual credits on the market.
Despite achieving its target of forest coverage on 30% of its total surface by 2022, Rwanda continues to plant between 30 and 40 million tree seedlings annually. Carl Jacket, Technology Advisor at Capital Cap Projects Africa, emphasizes the utilization of technology to track information for each tree. They pay for carbon capture services to prevent carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere.
So we use AI technology and drone technology to scan the area. So the technology has advanced and let us do more of that to ensure that when we check back on trees, we can see them and that we can see the history over a period of time. So we record all of that data onto the blockchain so that when someone buys the carbon credit, they can see the entire history from the first time that tree was planted through to every measurement and how healthy it is, and therefore we can know more accurately what carbon has been drawn into that tree.
Rwanda's contribution to global air pollution stands at a mere of 0.03%, while Africa as a whole contributes 4%. Notably, Africa has numerous forests, which collectively absorb a net of 600 million tons of carbon dioxide annually. However, despite this significant environmental role, only about 2% of global climate projects funded through carbon trading are located in Africa. Globally, the carbon market is estimated to be worth $237.3 billion per year. To more news, visitors and local residents alike in Musanze town have commended the erection of statues and displays of other artworks that showcase the rich tourism heritage of the area. The statues and other art pieces on display in the town are meant to encourage more people to visit the Volcanoes National Park and its gorillas. There have also been requests that proper lighting is provided for the statues because they are not properly visible at the night, and local officials have given assurances that the initiative is part of a larger tourism drive for the district that is still ongoing. The project is being supported by Belgian Development Agency, INEBO, and has so far cost 15 million Rwandan francs. The Mukungwa Eco Park is also to be established in Musanze to protect the Mukungwa River while providing recreational areas for visitors. This is where we end our edition tonight. Thank you for being part of our news today. Have a fruitful week ahead.